Yeah, let's let that beautiful music sink in. Thank you. Good morning. I am Maureen Gormley. I am a member and a worship associate here at this church, the First Parish here in Sherburne Unitarian Universalist Area Church. And my pronouns are she and her. Welcome. Let's begin our sacred worship service this morning by starting with a deep breath in and letting it out. I'm enjoying looking at all of you. Welcome to this loving community. Come in bringing all of who you are. We gather and worship, our hearts alive with hope that here we will be truly seen. Turn down the volume on your fears and loosen the armor around your heart. May we root ourselves in the values of this faith, acceptance and encouragement, compassion and transcendence, justice and transformation. We strive not for perfection, but for authenticity and connection. We come here to learn about being in relationship together, to listen, to forgive, to be vulnerable, to create trust and have compassion for one another. We are gathered here to walk each other home. Be here in this moment. Let go and breathe.
Good morning, everybody. It is so wonderful to see your faces. Special welcome to those of you who are here for the first time, those of you who are here in town for the holidays. Folks have brought you. I know some folks are returning home from college, and it's delightful to see you. My name is Reverend Joanna Lebkin. I'm the Minister for Lifespan Learning, and I start out with a few announcements. First, one of welcome to those who are joining us online or watching later. There's a camera up there. Let's wave and wish them a good morning or good time of day, whatever it is for you. A few pieces of logistical welcome. Over to your right, there is a table with candles for your prayers, as well as cards if you want to write something for us to read. There's handouts over there, including something to put up on your fridge that lists pretty much everything going on in December, from December 1st, which coming Sunday when I'm preaching. You should come, it's gonna be fun. Bring those family members who are in from out of town, it'll be great. As well as reflections on November's theme of grace. Grab it, because next week it's going on to December's theme. You can also sign up over there for lighting the chalice, ringing the bell, or bringing a flower or a pumpkin. I mean, it was a witch's hat once on Halloween. You get to decide what the decorative, festive item is, I suppose. In the back corner, we have a cozy area for kids and families who feel a little wiggly and would like to play with some quiet toys or some fidget items in the back. There's also nursery care around the corner, but we welcome noise and movement as signs of life and a lively congregation. So kids make noise? Okay, great, we love it. And if you are one of those newcomers joining us for the first or second or third time, we'd love to stay in touch. You should find in your pew a blue tall card that's got some contact, yay, thank you, that has info on it for you to fill out if you'd like to stay in touch. You can pass it in with other people's collections as that comes around later in the service, or hand it to any one of us in a robe and we'll take care of it. We hope you'll join us after the service for a coffee hour downstairs. It's accessible through stairs that way or an elevator in that back corner, and we're happy to help you find it. So a few things coming up in the coming weeks. December gets real full here. There's pretty much always something wonderful to do. I'll give you a few highlights of the coming weeks. If you like music, come on December 8th. It is Music Sunday. It's going to be especially gorgeous. Speaking of which, thank you to our guest cellist, Rebecca Shaw, who's bringing us gorgeous music today. And then when you've had your soul lifted up by all this music on December 8th, and you think, you know, I'm sure I'm ready to become a member here. This really is my spiritual home. I feel nourished. I'd like to give back to it. Perfect. December 15th, we're going to be welcoming new members in the service. If you think you'd like to learn more about what that entails, you can talk to me or Reverend Nathan anytime in the next week or two, and we'd love to help you with that. If you would like to be a shepherd of children or a stage manager of impromptu angels, we are looking for a few folks to help Julia Andrus and Serena Lilly with our pageant, which is December 22nd, our no rehearsal pageant, but it does still require, even with no rehearsal, some preparation. We thank Julia and Serena for shepherding it this year, but let's give them some help and some trainers, get some folks trained up so that they're not the only ones who hold the reins to the camels. Finally, I believe the last one from me before I pass it over is you, I hope, received, as you came in, a card with a prayer on it. This is from our land acknowledgement team. And we offer this as something you can bring to your Thanksgiving table or to conversations with your loved ones. I love that it honors both that for some folks it is a day of Thanksgiving and gratitude, and for some folks it is a national day of mourning. And it holds both. We recognize that it's complicated, and we are glad to be together, and we are glad to reflect on how we can be in better relationship with those whose land we are on. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paula and Nat, who are bringing some greetings from the Safer Congregations team.
Good morning. My name is Paula Wisniewski, and I'm a member of our congregation's Safer Congregations team.
Morning, I'm Nat Vaughn, and I'm also a member of our Safer Congregations team.
So, did you know that our congregation has a Safer Congregations team? Well, if you did not know, or you've been finding yourself staying up late at night wondering what we're up to, fret no longer. Soon in our weekly newsletter, you'll have the opportunity to learn more about our purpose. This small but mighty team has spent the last couple of years researching best practices and rewriting our current policy, as well as adding new guidelines that we determined were needed. We are proud to say that we now have what we believe is a very comprehensive policy with lots of procedures and recommendations aimed at keeping our youth and adults safer. Soon you will begin to see written material placed strategically throughout the church. Our work focuses on prevention, education, and responses that are theologically based and legally sound. Our policy aims at both preventing and addressing violence, abuse, harassment, fire safety, life safety, and various medical emergencies, and so on and so on.
So I just want to share a few things about how it relates to our faith and grounds in our faith. A safe congregation enables deeper engagement in worship and activities. And also you'll note that we're being very intentional about saying safer congregations versus safe, because it's a work in progress. It's always a process. Our work reflects the Unitarian Universalist values of justice, compassion, and respect by prioritizing safety and inclusion and living out the belief in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And our hope is that our community can continue to be one where we can grow spiritually without fear of harm for gathering and for worship.
So stay tuned and make sure to read our newsletter, which I know you all do, right? Yep. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any member of the team, which consists of course, myself and Nat, but also Adrian Walker, board member Megan Bransfield, and of course our fabulous ministers. So thank you very much.
Thank you both, and they really have put in so much work, so give them lots of thanks and buy them coffee. And we now take a moment to greet each other, and I will say if you are singing with the children's choir, it's a great time to come on up. We encourage you to say hello to somebody you don't know and introduce yourself.
Rosie, careful, because this moves. This moves, yeah.
Hey, this is for us. This one's for us. Wow. Stop it. Woo. Hello? Cuckoo bananas.
When we were farmers, we hauled in the harvest and founded Thanksgiving Day. With food in the shed for the winter ahead, we would gather together and say, thanks for our health, thanks for our heart, and the bounty that grows from the ground. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round. Now we are shoppers, we drive to the market. Farm seems a light year away. Every November we pause to remember that time-honored old-fashioned day. Thanks for our health, thanks for our heart, and the bounty that grows from the ground. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round. Everything changes, yes, even Thanksgiving. Let's dedicate this whole day to helping the hungry, the poor, and the homeless, so all may be able to say, thanks for our health, thanks for our heart, and the bounty that grows from the ground. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round. With our loved ones near, we bless the year that's brought us safely round.
Amazing children's choir. Giving our regular choir a run for their money. Good morning, friends. My name is Reverend Nathan. I am so privileged to be one of your ministers. Let us say together our opening words from Max Coots. We always say these words on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and they're among some of my most favorite because they are so true. Let us give thanks for a bounty of people, for generous friends with hearts and smiles as bright as blossoms, do we all know who we're thinking of? For continuous friends who, like scallions in cucumbers, keep reminding us that we've had them. For handsome friends who are as gorgeous as eggplants and as elegant as a row of corn, and the others as plain as potatoes, and so good for you. and serious friends, as unpretentious as cabbages, as subtle as summer squash, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, as endless as zucchini, and who, like parsnips, can be counted on to see you through the winters of life. For loving friends who wind around us like tendrils and hold us despite our blights and wilts and witherings. And for those friends now gone like gardens past that have been harvested, but who fed us in their times that we might have life hereafter. For all these we give thanks. Aren't those wonderful? Yeah. We also, on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, always gather together this first song, Gather the Family, that we've been doing now, gosh, I want to say like 10 or 11 years, and it's beautiful. We're going to sing the chorus, and Tim, I believe, is going to do our verses. Or somebody else. We'll see. Gather the family. Let us rise in body or spirit as we're able and join our voices. Sorry, I just surprised Tim. Oh, I'm singing? Yeah, sorry, Tim.
Came from away, far away, from 1,000 traditions and kin. What we all share together as we stand here today, with a chance to start over again. Gather together, here we belong, and a welcome, good stranger, come in. Our voices together, all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. Our measure of worth's not in power or gold. The greatest truth comes from the heart. It's how we take care of the weak and the old. And this is a place we can start. Gather together where we belong, and a welcome, good stranger, come in. Our voices together, all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. And so like a forest, our roots hold the past, while our branches reach into the sky. Let our gift to our children be family that lasts, and a future to which they can fly. Gather the family, here we belong, and a welcome, good stranger, come in. Our voices together, all singing one song, and it's here that the future belongs.
Hi, I'm Ian. Go ahead and have a seat. My name is Ian Evans. I'm your ministerial intern. Our chalice lighting today will be by Tate Murgett. Beautiful. Thank you, Tate. Right there. The chalice is the symbol of our faith, that flame within us all, that spirit of life and love. Please join me now in saying our covenant together, which is on the screens. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another.
I am delighted to welcome forward any young folks who want to be up front for a time we call our Wonder Box. Up here is a special box, and each week there's something in it that connects to the special day, or the theme, or the holiday. Adults are welcome too if they'd like. I'm going to see if I sit down on this stair, if folks in the back no longer see me. Am I gone now for you? Yeah. Should I stand back up? No? Okay, great, perfect. That means I get to be hi. Sully, I dropped some treats down here. Sully, go place. This is Sully. Usually he sleeps during the service. Sully, go place. Thank you, good boy. Down. So today, Reverend Nathan is going to be talking about what he's calling the grace economy. I'm going to explain that a little bit. I was taught that the word grace means a blessing or a gift that you did nothing to earn. It was just given to you out of love or generosity. And an economy is like how we spend money, how we give things back and forth. So this is like a way of giving that is just out of love. And as soon as Nathan said that, I started thinking, and I remembered this story. And there's an item in the Wonder Box that relates to this story. I wonder if there's somebody who'd like to open the box who hasn't done it in a while. Come on up. What's this? It's a shoe. It is a right shoe with a slight heel. Thank you very much. We can put that on top of the Wonder Box. It does look like a tap shoe. I wish it were a tap shoe. That'd be fun. Maybe that's a different Wonder Box. So there is a group online called Everything Free Jamaica Plain. So where I live, anybody in the neighborhood who's part of this group can post if they are looking for something that they need or want to share something that they have or give away something that they have. So this is a story from early in the pandemic, and I don't know how many of you remember this time, like 4 years ago. Some of you weren't even born yet, but some of you, I think, remember. We were kind of stuck in our homes for quite a while, and like if we were going to see people, it was on our porches really far away. So this is from kind of that stage. I was going to be doing a wedding, and I was having a fashion issue. I had sprained my ankle, and I was in a giant plastic walking boot. This thing was fine if I was wearing sneakers with it, but I was going to dress fancy, and I only really wear flat shoes, so if I were going to try and walk with that boot, it'd be like clomp, clomp. I needed a heel. I don't own any heels. So I posted on Everything Free JP and said, I know this is a weird thing. Does anybody have a right dress shoe with a heel that's somewhere between 1 inch and 1.5 inches high? Not any higher because I'll fall over. And so many people were so generous. They said, let me look through my closet. I think I'm your size. 6 or 7 people throughout my neighborhood put out shoes on their porches for me to drive around trying on one right shoe like Cinderella. It was amazing. It was so fun and so bizarre, and I really wondered what the neighbors would think because I'd have to try it on and then clomp down the stairs with a boot and a heel that maybe didn't fit and try it out. and then put it back on the porch and then go away. That might be a strange thing to see, right? But what I did find the very last pair that I was gonna try on fit perfectly, and it worked for the wedding, and then I never wore the shoe again because I don't wear heels. So this is a representative. I went to a thrift store. What I love about that moment was people were just so generous. They didn't say, well, why don't you just go to a store or order one online? They said, oh, I think I can help. They didn't ask for anything in return. They went out of their way to help. Have there been times in your life where people have just been generous just because they could? Anybody have a moment where somebody gave you something without expecting anything in return? Yeah, Elias, do you have one? Do you want to share what it is, or that was just an internal thought? Okay. I bet we can often think of one where somebody gave us something. Maybe it was a physical thing you needed, like you were cold and they lent you an extra coat to wear or an extra sweatshirt. But maybe it wasn't something you could touch or hold. Maybe it was a second chance. Sometimes I think about when I've said something that hurt a friend's feeling or a family member's feeling, and I say, I'm so sorry. I can see that that was painful. Can I try that again? Here's what I wish I had said. And sometimes they can be really gentle and gracious about it. Did you have something you wanted to share? Okay, great. So I want to invite us to think, as we are going into this holiday week where we're going to be talking a lot about being thankful, about giving generously and freely of the things that we have that we can share, but also of our goodwill, of being in a better mood than we might feel internally, right? If we're having a little bit of a grouchy day and somebody says something to us that we might respond usually a little cranky on that day, maybe we take a breath and we give something that maybe is what is an unearned blessing I can give right now? What is just something I could do to be generous in this moment and help me feel a little bit better about this and help the other person have a better day? So I'm really curious to hear in the coming weeks what it is you give, what it is you notice that you receive, and how it feels to just give with no expectations. So all children are always welcome at our faith formation classes, even if you're here for the first time. So we're going to sing folks out with Go Now in Peace. If you are new and new child here and you want to go to faith formation, you can head on out and ask any of the adults where you're going. Elias, did you have one last word? Oh, that's a great closer. Something easy to give is a smile or a thank you. So I bet we can all do that today. So with that, thank you. Let's sing.
Now is a time of silence and meditation. Take in a deep breath. Place both feet on the ground. Close your eyes if you wish, and drop into your body. We begin this time of prayer and meditation with hymn number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. It is in your blue hymnal, and the words are also on the screen. begin our prayers today with a prayer from Jen Brown, who says, "So grateful for our wonderful congregation who came together to celebrate the beautiful life of Marty Nickerson." A prayer from Doug Brown, who says, "Remembering my wonderful dad on this 3rd anniversary of his passing." A prayer from the McCoy family for Mugsy, who underwent a successful surgery this week and, in recovery, is still insisting on hosting Thanksgiving. A prayer from the Albers family for Ken, who had pacemaker surgery last week, and Sharon, who had shoulder surgery on Wednesday. If there are other loved ones you are holding in your heart, other prayers you wish to speak to yourself or out loud, now is the time. We light a candle for all those named and unnamed. A prayer for the world, for all that we might read in the headlines of the news, all that we might hear on the TV that affects us. May we remember that though those things affect the world, they are not the world. We light a candle for our prayers for the world. A prayer of thanksgiving from Jess Jonas, thankful that my brother and his family are visiting all the way from Alaska, including the exclamation mark, woo. A prayer from Bozgan, thankful for Marty's life, smile, and spirit forever in our hearts. A prayer of thanksgiving for the wonderful pumpkin arrangement provided by the parish elves, who are very busy this holiday time of year. If you have any other things on your hearts for which you are thankful this Sunday, now is a time to speak them to your heart or out loud. Ren. We light a candle for all those things we are thankful for, spoken and unspoken. Please join me in a time of prayer. God, Spirit of life and mystery, this is a week of giving thanks and a week of mourning. Those two things can be so difficult to hold together, and yet this is a week that asks us to do just that. May we mourn, may we be joyful and thankful for all that we have. May we never forget all that we've lost. May we be in this world as one. Now for a time of brief silence.
Our reading this morning comes from Serviceberry, Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Kimmerer is the author of The Braiding Sweetgrass, #1 bestseller, and a book we read here in community last spring. Kimmerer is a mother, scientist, professor, and member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. Here, Kimmerer lists the guidelines of what she calls an honorable harvest from the gifts that the earth provides. 1, know the ways of ones who take care of you so that you can take care of them. 2, introduce yourself. Be accountable as the one who comes asking for life. 3, ask permission before taking. Abide the answer. 4, never take the first one and never take the last. 5, take only what you need. 6, take only what is given. 7, never take more than half, leave some for others. 8, harvest in a way that minimizes harm. 9, never waste what you have taken. 10, share. 11, give thanks for what you have taken. 12, give a gift in reciprocity for what you have taken. And 13, sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will last forever.
Good morning. I'm Kathleen Dinsmore. I'm a member of the Land Acknowledgement Team. And every week we collect an offering and we give it all away to support an organization that lives out our values of love, service, justice, and peace. We are able to give 100% of our offering thanks to your pledges to our church, which keeps us going during the year. This week we are collecting an offering to honor our beloved neighbors, the Natick Praying Indians. Our relationship dates way back to the 1600s when Daniel Gookin, the father of UUAC's first minister, Daniel Gookin the Younger, worked with John Eliot to bring Christianity to a number of the indigenous people in Massachusetts. Gookin Sr. and Eliot worked with the Natick Praying Indians to develop the first translated Indian English Bible in America, and struggled to protect them during King Philip's War when many were sent to cruel isolation on Deer Island. Over many years past, we and the Natick Praying Indians have shared worship services both here and in South Natick, just down the road. And recently we have been renewing that relationship, learning about each other, meeting together, and sharing their grief over the death of their beautiful mother, sister, and chief of their tribe, Natick Chief Caring Hands. We feel a deep connection to each other and are excited to continue our dialogue together toward deeper understanding and to nurture a strong friendship in the future. You can make an offering by scanning the QR code on the screen or in your pews, or by giving cash or a check as the baskets come around. And we thank you for your generosity.
Music is balm for the soul, isn't it? Yeah. Friends, as I remind us every Sunday, I'm so honored to preach with you. Here's our world. Beautiful and terrible things will always happen. Our work is to keep our eyes soft and our words true, because this is what you and I are about. We know there's no answer but to love each other. We bear witness against destruction. And then we gather here in community to practice being the person we say we want to be. We cannot do everything, but we can always, of course, do something. So as Leonard Cohen reminds us, we ring the bells that still can ring. We forget our perfect offerings. There is a crack in everything. And you can say with me, that is how the light gets in. So I brought a sermon prop. Tom and Tim, can you see me? Hi. Sarah, hi. Hi. This, my friends, is the Picura aquatica. It's also known as a money tree. And the thing about money trees is that apparently if you put them in an area of your living space that has to deal with money, such as a business or a home office or a pulpit, no, not kidding, until one of our finance people does an announcement. If you put it in one of those places, it summons good luck, and good fortune will follow. That's the idea. How many of us have money trees? Look at all these hands. Okay, it's a sermon for you. And to make the plant's supposed powers stronger, money trees are often adorned with additional luck-bringing symbols like red ribbons and coins. Are there any red ribbons or coins adorning this money tree? I know you can't see it in the back, but I can tell you that there are not. And that's because when my wife Karen brought it into the kitchen late spring and put it in a very non-money-centric area of our home and the table between two sitting chairs where I sit in the morning and drink my coffee and I doom scroll there and I just hang there. I saw a red ribbon attached to this and I thought, weird. The store left a red ribbon attached to the plants now, and I got some scissors and I just cut it off. Why is the store leaving like stuff on my plants, man? Come on. Now, from previous sermons that some of you have been with me for, you will know that I'm no horticulturist or botanist or farmer. Gage Heath, who is laughing right now. And I want to remind us, I faithfully fed an orchid handcrafted ice cubes for months until I was shown, also by my beloved spouse, that the orchid I was keeping alive was actually plastic. And after you laughed, I want you to know that one of the most amazing things, the fruit that orchid produced, of course, was a beautiful sermon, which I take to mean that sometimes even our disappointments or accidents can produce gifts that we are not expecting. This, my friends, is called foreshadowing. You with me? So listen, this money tree is not the first to live in the Detering Vicarage in Holliston. There have been so many, particularly as the college bills have come piling in. Another bill, another money tree. Oh, honey, you want to do semester abroad? Money tree. Can't find someone to sublet the apartment that I have? Money tree. Car needs new front axle. Money tree. Yes? But friends, all of these money trees have withered. One leaf drops, and then another curls at the edges, green fades to yellow, until eventually there is left just a trunk with one leaf. They say it takes money to make money. Is that what they mean? That I need to go buy another money tree? So in the reading in the book that Carly, you read from, it's called Serviceberry. I just cannot recommend this book enough. The author says, one of the great delusions of market capitalism is this notion, she says, of being self-interested all the time. That we are only as good, or our efforts are only as good, or the things that we have in our life are only as good as long as they have an ROI. Who knows what an ROI is? Wow, look, way more than the money trees, everybody. What is ROI? Yeah. I feel like you know more about ROI than you do like scripture and like almost anything else. Ministers, we paying attention? I think we're speaking the language of our time. Or in other words, Robin says, looks like this money tree's on the way out. There's only one leaf left. It's time to get a new one. We better go get another money tree. Which is what was happening to this one. It was just hanging by a thread or a leaf. Looks like we need a new money tree, I said to the dog one day this summer. As national politics began to roil and broil, and fear began to rise, and I learned that our beloved Marty Nickerson, who was mentioned in the prayer, and for those of you that didn't know her, she was my neighbor, and she had the most beautiful beatific smile you can possibly imagine. Her mom, who is 100, wrote a remembrance that I was privileged to share yesterday, during which her mom said that she was like a kind of baby that like slept all night, and like one of those babies. Marty was like that as a 78-year-old person. And I just want to also say that I was so privileged and heartbroken at the same time to say goodbye to her in the same house that I married her 20 years ago. Her and her wife, Gail, my first same-sex wedding. Anyway, as I learned that Marty was getting sick this summer, and I learned that Loretta Lee, who's another beloved member of this community, was on hospice, I was thinking about all these things. I was next to this money tree. I was feeling all of these things. And the dog is always at my feet while I eat lunch. It's usually peanut butter sandwiches. You're going to judge me on my food situation, so let me just tell you what it is. Peanut butter sandwiches and carrots and apple, and almost always those little green, red, and orange and yellow sweet peppers that you get for snacking, which are my favorite. You're like, Nathan, that's what you eat? I'm like, yeah, that's what I eat. So my eyes, as I'm pointing to the money tree, and the Shaka's like, that's our golden retriever, looking at me, looking at my hand, back and forth. I point to it and I say, I think we need a new money tree. I say to the tree, to the dog, to bring some good fortune around this place, because the summer's starting to look pretty rocky. You with me? And he follows my hand back and forth until I give him one of the peppers, because he's a golden retriever and he eats absolutely anything. So in this interview that I read with the author of our book, Serviceberry, she said she named it Serviceberry after the wild red-purple berry known as the Juneberry or sugar plum, to explore what she called the idea of the gift economy, or grace economy. It's one that's structured around interconnectedness and reciprocity. She describes this berry. It shares its wealth freely with the world. No ROI here, quid pro quo. It shares with all the birds and insects and humans. And then the world flourishes in response. She says, all flourishing is mutual. Now, this is the sermon part. All flourishing is mutual. What a subversive message in this moment of time, that all flourishing is mutual. Because we're living in a time of great division, and we take no prisoners. And then she said in this interview that I read, so much that my ears burn. Does that ever happen to you? Your ears burn when you hear something that just like burns, your ears like curl with the truth of it all. She says, we hear so much of, well, do you have hope? And I'm like, hope for what? And then she says, for me, it's about helping people fall back in love with the world again. For me, it's about helping people fall back in love with the world again. And she says, because we know as people, we have an incredible power when we really recognize that we love someone or we love something. I want you to think about that for a second, about someone or something that you have loved and what it's like to fall back into love again. What a counterpoint to the suspicion and the cynicism that we have. Okay, so it's July. Karen says, hey, what's going on with your money tree? It's dying, I say. It's not plastic. I need to get a new one. Out with the old, in with the new. Did you see that tuition bill? No, she says. You have a new chute. That's my embodiment of shoot. And so I rush over, and sure enough, next to the trunk, there's a new sprout. And the other leaves look a bit fresher. For all you plant people, is fresher a horticultural word? Is it a spiritual word? What's the sell-by date on your soul? I'm just wondering, on your spirit. Do you need it to like be renewed? So, did you also know, I've learned this, you knew this, I know you did, that talking to your plants helps them flourish more? Turns out that saying, we need to get a new money tree, this one's dying, you're done, isn't great to hear for plants or for people. Or for people. So that when you see a new shoot, I started doing things totally different. That's what I did. I was like, oh, hey, baby. Good morning. No more NPR? No. Let's listen to some acoustic guitar. Baby. And then the shoot began to grow. And the other leaves began to fresh and flourish. There was mutual flourishing happening between the money tree and the shoot and me. The three of us were flourishing. It's an antidote to the fall, everybody, to watch this happening, to watch the flourishing as a counterpoint to the doom scroll. And then, friends, just weeks before the election, and sometimes I will embellish my sermons, I will not lie to you after 22 years, but this is not an embellishment. In the midst of all of the losses, whether it's nationally, politically, personally, certainly in our congregation, the most amazing thing, a flower. Now, do money trees have flowers? Hey, money tree people, do they have flowers? They don't grow flowers of money, do they? They don't, in case you're wondering. But then next, the flower dropped. And out came, what the hell is that? What is that? Karen, what is that? Sean, would you show the picture? If you look closely, it looks like a pepper. It's a pepper. It's a pepper. It's a miracle of mutual flourishing. This is a gift economy. Remember when I said that I waved that pepper around as I was yelling at the money tree that it's time to get a new one, and the dog is following my eyes? It looks like, it is like a seed fell into this money tree and it grew. This is the point in a sermon where it's really easy to over-sermon the sermon. I don't want to over-explain it. I just want us to be a witness. That's what I want. Here's what I think it's preaching to me and maybe to you. This little moment is preaching to me to not try so hard to come up with reasons for hope. It's preaching to me to not try to buy enough money trees that all will be well. Whatever money tree is for you in your life. This pepper is preaching to me the perfect message to not manufacture ROIs. It's just saying at this moment here in November 2024, fall back in love. Fall back in love. This is telling me that mutual gifts of flourishing are completely possible. There is wisdom here. Is there wisdom here? Yeah. Gift of life, often, y'all, is unexpected, it is unearned, it is unbidden, and it is beautiful still. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving week. Love to each and all of you. Amen. And don't pluck the pepper. You heard the reading that Carly read. Ask, talk to it. You can just come up and you can say, "Hey, baby." That's what the pepper likes. I invite us to rise and invite our spirit for our closing hymn, For All That Is Our Life, number 128. Reminder that join us for fellowship downstairs in Unity Hall. And love to say good morning to you over here, myself, Reverend Joe, and Ian, before we head out into our weeks. As we say together, our call to ministry. We go forth into the world in peace to act with works of love, to affirm each person's dignity, and to cherish. We extinguish our chalice of light, but the light goes into each one of us. Love to all of you.